Give me a minute and we'll get going here. If I start too soon, then it doesn't pop up in my feed on my computer, and then I can't find it. So we'll get going. And it doesn't pop up in my feed on my computer. Okay, we are good to go. So guys, I'm Lola Rist with LolaRist.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and we have been snowbound today, and I kind of like it. I have never had a problem with having a snow day. I like snow days. Always feels like an unscheduled, unplanned vacation day, and I like them. But we're going to do some work today. Hi, Tina, and I'm going to share with you a project that I'm going to use for the class that I was going to have tomorrow night. My Stampin' Sip, we're actually going to postpone it. This weather is kind of yucky. So finger crossing that next week will be better. And we have somebody baking gingerbread cookies. And this morning, she was still leaving South Dakota, trying to get home from Thanksgiving when she got caught. So it works out better for her after I did all the canceling. She's like, oh, thank you, Lord. So anyhow, let's go on ahead and turn this around and you'll see what we're going to do. I kind of am loaded with stuff today. So let's see what we got. See if the frame shows up. Kind of. So let's move the big shot up and out of the way. And if we kind of move this up, I'm hoping that we can get all of this in the frame for the video today. So we're going to start with a piece of two-tone garden green cardstock. And I'm actually using the back side. I'm doing the lighter side. I wanted it to be make the darker side on here pop a little more. So we're using the lighter side of it. And I'm going to hold it up here. I want you to look at it. I have embossed this piece. Now this piece is actually 6 across and 12 inches long. I got my frame from Amazon, 6 by 12 frames. And I used it for the Halloween little diorama that I had. But I want to do it again. I thank you, Sandy. It is adorable. I was so pleased. It's one of those things that's been in my head for about a month, and I just haven't had time to deal with it, to look at it, and to work on it. But it's just been cycling in my head. So when I actually sat down to do it, I did it in about an hour and a half, designed it. I was really pleased with that because it went relatively fast when I think about how long it could have been. So this would be a great thing to do for a teacher gift. It would be, it would just be a fun one, period. I'm not so sure that it wouldn't be fun to come back and do it after Christmas in January just to have it ready to go for next year. It is super, super cute. So let's look though at this 12 by 12 piece of frame. Our 6 by 12 piece of two-tone cardstock is a lot longer than the actual embossing folder that we have. So in that case, how am I going to do this? And I wanted to share with you how easy this one is. There are some of our stamp embossing folders that this would not possibly work. This one, though, lines up relatively easy because if you look at it and you split it in half, this side of the embossing folder and this one are exactly the same. Because of that, I'm going to do the best I can, but I'm also not going to stress if it's not too perfect because this is going right across the middle. This is gonna lay over it. I don't know if you can see it, but if I hold this right here and point, you can see where it doesn't quite match up. So I'm just gonna kind of wait here for a second. Hi, Arla. Hi, Rowena. Hi, Lynn. So if I hold it down like so, it's off a little bit. Here's another one. Might even be better to see over here. I think you can see it over here better. Hi, Kathy. I think this would be so much fun to do, even though, yes, Christmas, we're not going to get it done. We are busy. We are stacked. But I think it would still be a fun thing to do later. And I think it would be fun to add like a Easter scene. I'm sorry. I just think there's a lot of possibilities here. So let's go on ahead and see, how did I do this? So if I'm going to put my big shot right here in the middle, and I'm going to take this 6 by 12 inch piece of two-tone cardstock, and I want the lighter color to have the embossing up. So I'm going to flip it over. Always remember, if you're looking and you can't remember what's the top surface of your embossing folder, your top surface is always the one that has this Stampin' Up! And this line. It has the logo and it has the line. I'm trying to pull it up into the actual video feed, the camera. There it is. So this will always be the top. You have to be careful because the back side may say Stampin' Up!, but you want the logo. You want this part of it, and that's the top surface. And I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put it in here. It is a 6 by 6 piece. Okay, try and make sure I got it as straight as I can. All right, and I'm gonna run it through my Big Shot. So give me a second to come over here. Using just the bottom platform and the gray top surface. It is a little on the tight side. Okay. So when I open this up, had the wrong thing. When I open this up, this is what you get. Okay. I'm going to turn around and I am going to lay this right in here, just like so. And I know you can't see. But I laid it right in there, and I'm going to, hopefully the lines will line up as best as it can. So I'm going to put it back here, but I also want to make sure that I know that I don't emboss over, so I'm going to pull it down, and I've pulled it down so this is about where the embossing stops, because I don't want to double emboss. So we're going to go again. Always put the seam through first. All right. Okay, so when you do an embossing folder, and I wish I could show you that even bigger and better than what I did, you always put the fold first. Never put the open end first. The open end is going to bubble up, and eventually that will crack this spine right here. So always go this first, and then that pushes the air out to the open end. And I only went so far down. All right, so here's where I'm at. I can see the part that is not perfect is right here. So I'm going to hold this here until I can see it with my finger. It's this line right across. Right there. Try to hold it, lay it flat. Okay. I think we did a really good job of matching that up. Even if it's off, it's going to be okay because you've got stuff. This will probably be covered by the gingerbread. You've got other stuff. People are not going to pay attention to that. And some of our embossing folders will not do this, but this one will allow you to emboss from both ends and match it up. So there's the start. All right, so we're going to go on ahead and we're going to pull out our pieces. I use 2 stamp sets. I use the Gingerbread Man and I use the Homemade Treats. Hey, Patricia, nice to have you with us. Hey, Kathy. Gingerbread Man, Homemade Treats. These are the 2 that I worked with. Specifically on this one, I really didn't do anything but the eyes. I didn't use any of the other stuff. On this one, this is what I use for the decoration pieces and things, and also for the labels. So we're going to start with the label first. We're going to take our white label, and I used the branching out. I really love the branching out. If you don't have those, you don't have to have the stamp set. The branching out is great by itself, just having the dies. So I'm going to go on ahead and use the one that says it's beginning to taste like Christmas. And I'm going to put that right here in the middle somewhat. Actually, I'm going to try to go a little higher than the middle. All right. And then we're going to take the rolling pin and pecan pie. I love pecan pie. I love to eat pecan pie too, but it's such a mess. It's not, mine always leak. And pray that I don't tip this. So I'm just going to take the rolling pin and go straight down and up. Okay? So there's my pecan pie. And then I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to add a few more things. We're going to add some sprinkles. Just in a couple of places. And then we're going to add the gingerbread boy. And I always trim this down. I don't know if you have ever noticed that, but sometimes some of our stamps have too much red rubber around the outside edge. And if that happens, you're apt to get this along the edge, even though you try not to rock it or anything. And when that happens, it ends up giving a line, and you have to be really careful. This one was one that was just about impossible to stamp without getting a line. So I literally took my scissors, my paper snips, and I just cut the red rubber. After this year, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Red rubber is gone. Okay? All right, that is the end of the pecan pie. And that is the end of the real red. Let's come back here with the ink. And I thought I inked this up. So let's see what I got. Yeah, a little bit. It still could have used a little more. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put my icing piping bag here. And I'm going to do another one at the top. And you see what I'm talking about? There's my little line right there. Just being very careful that you don't rock it. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much all I had to worry about right now with those. So let's go on ahead and put those off to the side. and we can assemble here a little bit. So I'm going to go on ahead and put the white label onto the red, like so. And then I'm going to take some dimensional pieces. Hey, Deb, nice to have you with us. So they've already canceled Bible study for tomorrow. If school was canceled today, I anticipate it'll be closed tomorrow in this area. Although we do have a lot of schools around us that are actually 4-day weeks, so they lucked out. Stamp and Sip, we decided to postpone to next week in hopes that this weather is better. And that's what this project is for. This was for Stamp and Sip. And then we're going to have, we're going to we're going to decorate gingerbread cookies as my gift to them. All right, so I'm going to pull these off for now. But I'm going to set it off to the side and not let it get stuck on anything because I want to look at the gingerbread first. Okay. All right. So we're going to go with this here in the middle-ish for now, but I'm going to set it off to the side. And we're going to look at the gingerbread. So this gingerbread is really big. I don't know if you've seen it or not. When I first saw it, I thought, ooh, no, I don't want it that big. I didn't want it that big. But actually, I'm kind of glad. It actually, when it runs, it's a one piece that runs both of these little boys at one time. And then there is a score line. And the score line allows you to fold it over and make a gingerbread card. I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to snip it apart. Okay, now if you look at him, he looks weird because he's got one arm that is rounded and one looks like somebody bit or took a knife and cut it off, okay? That is going to be the one that goes to the outside edge down here. It's going to the bottom, and that will be taken off. Trying to get this so that you can see where I'm at on here. So I'm going to take him, and he's going to be hanging off down here. This will be removed. So I'm not worried, but I want to make sure that I don't get this arm visible, okay? Then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but the arm is going to be over to the left, and I'm going to tilt him at an angle like this. And I want to tilt him so that I am not too close up here to the top. So if I look at him right there and I kind of come back to my framed piece, he's a little even farther down than what I've got it there. So I'm going to come on down a little ways. So he's going to be about right there. And then that's going there. This will go on top of it. And then his face will be on top of him. So I got the idea. Let's do the eyes first. I have one set of eyes that is just got a winking little eye to it, like a little twinkled eye. And the other one's kind of creepy looking. I just thought he was creepy from the very get-go. So I'm going to go on ahead and do this one below. And I'm going to put his face in here, not too high. Like so. And then this one is kind of creepy looking. I don't know why, but it just kind of, it bothers me. Those eyes bother me. So there it is. So I used early espresso. And this one is going to go flat on my top. So I'm going to go on ahead and put my adhesive here. And I'm going to put him down about here. I've got to keep him low enough that I have a hat that goes on it. So I'm not going to push it down. I'm going to have my hat go on him. And then that will be covered up, this top 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to leave him right about there. And then this one is going to go on. How am I going to do this one? He's going to go on down here, but he's going to go on dimensionals. So you may think, well, I'm nuts putting the dimensionals on first, but I think if I get everything in alignment, I think I'll be happiest. So I'm going to go on ahead, and remember, you want that funky part of his arm off to this side. So I'm going to come back here and do this. Here. Here. I think that will get him. I could put one. No, I've got one there, so I'm good. Maybe one right there. Okay. All right. But before we go any farther with this, I want to come to my little bowl of pieces. And Pool Boy ran for me, and he did not like it. He's like, okay, this sucks. I said, yes, I know. That's why you only had to run that one piece. I did everything else. So here are the icing pieces. And I'm only going to play with the icing. I don't need the icing here. Why would you waste the little piece here? And it's not going to be visible over here, but I am going to have a piece here. And then I come down here and I have a little piece and a little piece and 2 pieces. So be strategic. Kind of look at it where you're going with it to see that you don't put stuff in places where you don't want it run, where you don't want it to be. All right, so I'm going to go on ahead and do this one down here so that I can get it pretty well done. I put it on the adhesive backing, so all I had to do was peel the back piece off, and it worked. And I am going to put him right over here. And I know it's not full, but I'm going to put a piece of candy in his hand, so I'm going to cover that up. All right, so now we're going to go another one. And I think I could probably do this in 2.5 strips. But I did have him run 4 just in case. So, I don't know about anybody else. We got more snow here today than I thought they were going to get. So I'm going to put him right about here. And again, he's coming off, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to cut a little of this off. And I'm going to put this, and I'm just going to angle it a little bit. So it looks like it's there, but it's kind of at an angle so that some of that's going to disappear. Okay? All right. So the only other one I have to really work on is this piece right here. So let's go on ahead and pull off. In fact, let's just clip this. I love this too. I'm glad you love it, Pam. Make sure you're coming to do this with us next week at your whistle stop. Okay? All right. Yep, I did it in 2.5 pieces. But shh, we won't tell him that. Oh, you're just getting the snow, Arla. Oh, yeah, it's been going all day. Okay, now we've got this piece. And remember, I want this to sit on top of him. So it covers this up. I'm going to kind of even it up a little bit. In fact, is that about right? Pretty much. I could go up a little higher. Up a little higher. Okay, and now we pull all these dimensionals off. Good deal. I think this would be fun, even after Christmas, whether we get it done before Christmas or not. I think it would be fun to do. And anybody, we could do this. The only thing you really have to have is that baking set, the one that says it's homemade treats. Because the other one, you can always come back and just do eyes. All right, so I'm gonna put this one over here, like so. And I think I'm gonna wait on the rest of him before I clip all this other stuff off. So let's do some gluing now. So let's go back to all these candy pieces. And I'm gonna tip my bowl out. Here's my hats. I have 2 of them. And I just use scraps of material, paper. This is from the In Color DSP 6x6 packs. And this is from the 6x6 Christmas tags and paper that came in and then went out and came in and then it's gone out again. I would assume it's out for good. All right. So we're going to go on ahead and we're going to put some adhesive on 2 pieces of white. So all I did was run this again, but I just ran this. I just want this to go on top of this. So I'm going to leave that there. And I did, like I said, I did 2 of them. So I'm going to cut this off. All right. So I think it was our friend Bonnie that was telling me this. And they've got a little saying, because people overuse the glue. They get going too much and they get way too much glue. This glue lasts and goes a long ways. So they just kind of tell people dot, dot, not a lot. Just a dot, 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 not a lot. Because some people would take it and glue the whole thing. It's like, no, 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 no. All right. So we're going to take these and lay this right on top of here. And I have my hat. And I have my other hat. And while we're gluing, let's just glue everything that has to be glued, because there's a lot of candy pieces that have to be glued. Okay? All right, so there's my hats done. When you run the die for the candy cane, it runs like this. So I went on ahead and I ran a set in white and I ran a set in real red. And now I'm going to take these and I'm going to turn these 2 over and add the stripes by just putting a dot of glue on. Dot, dot, not a lot. And in fact, I'm going to let it set up for a second, because you really don't want that glue oozing. And while we're at it, we're going to run a couple more here. There is a candy piece that runs, and it comes out with these pieces, 2 sets side by side. So I ran it in white and I ran it in red. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue this up with my glue. And then we'll come back and put the candy canes together. So I'm going to put my dot. And my dots. And let's set this off to the side for a minute and let's finish the candy cane. I'm going to go this on top of the white. Easy, easy peasy. Okay. And then the white on the red. It's a little on the loose side, but it'll sit there. If you give it a moment and just hold it, it will stay in place. Okay. Same thing with this. White on the red. Okay. So far we've got 2 candy canes, 2 pieces of candy, 2 hats. Let's see. I did a bow. So let's go on ahead and get this bow. Let's finish the candy. So I took the sucker and I ran the sucker in white, and it runs like this. It runs a piece like this. No, it doesn't. It runs this. It runs that one. And I ran it in red and white because I want this in red. And I just took a 1-inch circle, and I'm going to glue this down. And I ended up taking the striped paper from last year. I really wanted a peppermint paper. And so I just went back to the scraps from that Take a Bow paper. I had some, and I just punched that. And then I'm going to put this on top. Let me do that. Okay, so we've got our sucker. And then, could you do me a favor, please? I need a piece of white scrap paper, please. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. And then you have...
Draw on or...
I want to stamp on. So about, not even 2-inch square, maybe. Okay, and then this bow, and this one you have to be tricky because it runs 3 pieces all at once, like that. So I'm going to take this, and I debated about it, but I think I'm going to put it, so this is under, and this goes on top. So I'm going to put a little more glue. And then we're going to put a dot of glue here. And I think I've got everything glued down. And I'm going to put this little knot on top. This one is a tricky little piece. You could easily lose it. In fact, when I went in last night to put everybody's packages together, as I did it, it was the last thing, and I watched every package get that little square, so I know it's there. So there's the bow. All right, so let's go on ahead. So we have the 2 candy canes. We have the 2 hats, the sucker, 2 pieces of hard candy, and 2 bows. Thank you. And we have I ran a cup for hot cocoa, and then a baker's mitt for the oven. So we're going to put all that onto this. And this is all scrap. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's put this on. We're going to go with we can go with the tape runner on this. So, I don't know about you guys, we're still running through how Thanksgiving leftovers. But we always like leftovers. That was the thing. We like the leftovers of the turkey. So I put his on there. And then I'm going to take this bow and put it below here. Put him on here. Okay, I'm going to take his hat and I'm going to cock this hat off to the side just a hair. Just a hair. I think I'm even going to put a piece of dimensional behind the hat topper. Hi, Bobby. Nice to have you with us today. So we're working on a little gingerbread frame that I did. I'm going to put that on the top knot on the back of the top knot, but the rest of it I'm going to put adhesive. And I'm going to cock it off to the side, keeping in mind I can't get too close to the edge because if I do, it will be off just a hair. In fact, I'm going to push it back on over here a little more. All right. And then we've got this one, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this. What stamp and set and die are you using? I used the gingerbread stamp set, Gingerbread Man, and I also used the homemade treats. And he goes up here. Okay. All right, so I think we're ready to start putting things down. So I'm going to put the candy cane up here. One up and one down. Candy cane is going to go flat. I'm not worried about trying to put dimensionals behind it. And it's just wherever you want things to go. I'm going to take the sucker and put a dimensional behind it. I'm going to tuck that in here and just kind of overlap it on top of the candy cane. And I'm going to put one of these candies on here. Like so. And then we're going to come back down here and we're going to take this piece of candy, and this piece of candy is going over his little hand where he's holding it, and that covers up that little piece. I'm going to take this little coffee cup for hot cocoa and put him on top of the candy cane. And this is going here. I'm going to use adhesive and I'm going to use some dimensional and angle it. Okay, so we're going to step this aside for a minute. We're going to come back and we're going to stamp two little things. And I'm going to do a no-no because I don't have any wipes here. So I'm just going to fake it. All right. Fake, 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 fake. And we're going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp a couple of gumballs in red. And a couple of gumballs in garden green. And before you know it, we'll be done. Yeah, I know. I heard somebody go, "Oh, don't mix the inks." I heard it. We're not worried about it. Okay. All right. So I'm not even going to take...
Say, not as I do.
That is exactly right, Jim. Do as I say, not as I do. That's what all teachers... You know, we try to show you the right way, and then we mess it up and do other
Buy
things.
your books and send you to school, and all you do is chew on the covers.
Oh. Do you have a lot of snow days when you were at the parochial school? Because you didn't have a bus route, did you?
Me?
Did the mom and dad take you?
There weren't snow days that I remember.
Did your parents take you to the parochial school? Drive you, or did you ride the bus?
We rode bus with
With the town kids?
yeah.
Huh. I'm kind of surprised.
Picked up that away.
Okay. So we're about done. We put these on here. Like so. And I'm not going to take the time to cut these out. I'm just going to go on ahead and put these on. I'm going to run the dye later after this is over, and I will stick them on in a few places. I'm going to go on ahead and put my peppermints on, and I'll show you the finished one in the frame again one more time. So we're going to start with, I love the different sizes of these. So I'm going to start with a medium one and go to a big one. And I'm going to plop a couple of big ones out here. I want to put something right here in the middle, so I'm going to come back and get a little one and put right in the middle of my candy on there. And then I'm going to do a couple more up here for his belly. Just mix up the sizes. There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. Put a small one here. Gonna put a bigger one in the middle on this one. And another one up there. And I believe that's it. So we started with the 6x6 two-tone cardstock. We embossed it with the plaid embossing folder, and I showed you how to flip it so that you're able to get the embossing in folder. Where did I get it? I got it from Amazon, Kathy. It's like $5.95 a frame, and it is 6 by 12. You want to measure a 6 by 12 frame. 6 by 12. I had another one that was kind of like it. It was like 5.5 by 11.5, but you want to make sure it's 6 by 12. That it'll hold a 6 by 12 piece of paper. I use the branching out labels. I went on ahead and did all of this from the homemade treats, all the stamping. Then all of the dies, like the candies, those come from the gingerbread set. The hats come from the set of the gingerbread. Here comes the little man. And it is as cute as it can be. I love this. I do. I think it's adorable too. So thank you. And I think it went together relatively fast. I told you, I think I did it in about 2 hours, hour and a half. Because I kept putting it off. I knew I had to do it. I just hadn't got it done yet. And I finally yesterday, I'm like, okay, no, Saturday, I got in there and I said, I got to get it done. And I think in less than an hour and a half. I know less than 2 hours, put it that way. And I'm going to put that there so his little hat stays in place. Why did that not go? there. And that one, I could probably go a glue dot. We'll see. Maybe not. We'll do another one. Thanks, gals. I think it would be fun even after Christmas. I know it seems like late now to try and do this, but I don't think we could get it all done. But I think we could do it afterwards. I think it would be cute, 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 and you have it all ready to go for next year. So there he is. That's my gingerbread frame. And, oh, I forgot to show you. I was just going to cut these off. Just cut it off right up to the edge. Like so. There he is. So there's my frame piece. There's my one made so that they have one to look at. They have a second one to look at. And I have this already made for the gal who's making our gingerbread cookies. So, hey, cuz, nice to have you with us. Hey, guys, thanks for being with us. I will be back again next week. I think my Mondays will be okay. But we will not be videoing on Wednesday. Pam will be with me, but we have church. We have Advent. So I have to play, you know. When you got to play, you got to play. So we'll have to video on Thursday night, and we're going to use my package of all of the pre-order stuff so you can see what all's coming. So anyhow, this is it. Thanks for being with me. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.